Talkopolis, the social media TV network for your city.
Hi guys, Kane Harrison here. Welcome to Nashville's Health and Wellness program. We are proudly brought to you by Middle Tennessee Health and Wellness magazine, so make sure you get out there and grab a copy. Today we are with Michael Ramsey of PAI Medical, WeGrowHair.com. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Sure, Kane.
I imagine, this subject for a long time has kind of been touchy, but we're going to get rid of some of the myths around what laser hair treatments and hair transplant for hair loss specifically.
Okay.
I think the technology is the thing I want to start with. It's changed so much over the years. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so laser therapy has been used in medicine, healthcare centers, hospitals to help with patients with wound healing for some time. There's a certain spectrum of light that's been proven to help in that category, in that area, excuse me. But they found out kind of accidentally that it helps with hair loss. And so today we use it as a very effective way to help control early onset hair loss in females and men as well. It's also used with our transplant patients. When they have a transplant surgery, it helps them heal quickly. It helps the hair from the transplant grow in more quickly. It helps them heal more quickly. So it has a lot of benefits for transplant patients and the non-transplant patients.
Now let's talk about, I know you just touched on it then. I think that a lot of people think about hair loss primarily with men, but obviously there are some women who suffer this as well. Talk about the spectrum of the patient that you might see.
Sure, the majority of our laser patients happen to be female. So women are not always great candidates for hair transplant surgery, and typically women have a diffused light thinning. They don't go bald like a man who goes bald in the top.
Right.
So laser therapy is very effective at reversing that process. When people lose hair, a woman's hair will become thinner in the shaft diameter. It grows more slowly, and then it falls out. So she loses volume first, and they notice it very quickly. So the laser therapy helps reverse that, and it works through something called photobiostimulation. But essentially what that means is it helps with hair cell repair and hair cell metabolism to reverse that thinning, that miniaturization, that scalp appearance. As the hair gets thinner, the more and more scalp shows. So it helps reverse all that.
Now I know for most of the ladies at home, they all go and like to keep this volume of hair.
Yep.
Is it something that is age related, or is it something that's genetic? How does that translate?
Kane, is both. Some people genetically have a predisposition to lose hair as they get a little older, but we have lots of patients that are between 20 and say 45 that are thinning, that are moms. They have 2 or 3 kids at home, and they've lost that fullness, that body, that thickness. And of course, as we age, men and women will lose hair density, hair volume, hair thickness. And so the laser therapy helps with that segment of the population as well.
Now, I know you guys have a fantastic practice.
Thank you.
Tell us about what sets your practice apart to some of the others around the country.
Sure. So we're the oldest hair transplant and hair treatment practice in the state of Tennessee. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We're very proud of that. And we've helped more people in the state of Tennessee, and actually this part of the country, than in any other practice. We offer laser hair therapy, which we spoke about, hair transplantation. We offer robotic transplants, and then non-robotic transplants. We offer a treatment called PRP, which is a newer treatment for treating hair loss, which is very effective, by the way, for women.
Mm-hmm. Now, you touched on the robotic transplants and non-robotic.
Yep.
For people like me who don't know a lot about that, can you explain the differences in that?
Sure. Robotic technology, as you've seen on the news, you can't turn the TV on without being inundated with robotic something. So in hair transplant surgery, the robot is used for a particular type of surgery called follicular unit extraction. So that type of hair transplant surgery.
One more time.
Sure. Yeah. So there's a couple of ways to do transplant surgery. Sure. There's the traditional method, and then there's a robotic method. The robotic method does a type of transplant called follicular unit extraction, where we go in and extract the individual hair follicles out and then transplant them that way. The most effective way to do that follicular unit extraction is robotically, because the precision is so important when you're harvesting those individual hairs. You want to make sure that you don't damage them. And the robot, as it's going in to harvest the hair, is calculating about 45 times a second the angle and direction of the hair.
Wow.
So if a patient takes a breath, for example, the robot picks up on the change in the head, that millimeter or two, and makes an adjustment. Whereas when we used to do that by hand, the physician would miss that cue and go in and harvest the hair and often miss the hair. So for follicular unit extraction, for that type of transplant surgery, the robot is the preferred technique.
I think it's unbelievable as you talk. I mean, as I said, I didn't know a lot about this subject prior to us talking and even talking off camera. But it obviously has come such a long way. And even in the appearance, I know I joked, you know, people would say, oh, he's gone and got some hair plugs, have a look at that. He looks like a doll or something like that. But I mean, the precision now in the technology makes the overall appearance of the finished product vastly different.
Yeah, it's astonishing the people that are doing it now because of that reason, because back in the old days, let's call it 20 years ago, hair transplants were plugs. And so when they were done, you could tell. You may not know this, but Joe Biden, our vice president, had plugs 25, 30 years ago. So you can Google him, you can see the old plugs. But you'll also see today it looks completely natural because he's had all that fixed with this new technology. And I'm a patient. I had the old plugs many years ago, had them fixed, and today nobody could tell I'm a patient.
You would never tell a difference.
No, it looks completely natural.
It does. Let's talk about the process. So if someone at home is thinking about coming in and seeing you guys, is it something that is, you know, come in for a couple of hours over a prolonged period of time? How does the structure of that time frame work?
Well, one of the great things about our practice is we developed something a number of years ago called virtual consultations. So if a patient lives out of the market, out of Nashville area, I should say, or just too busy to come in, we offer that as an option. So patients can log in and set an appointment time for the virtual. The virtual consultation works in such a way we can use Skype where I can see the patient and they can see me. It's a great tool. Telemedicine is also what it's called. And then we offer the face-to-face consultation process where the patient comes in, we do a thorough hair and scalp analysis of their own hair, and we go over the different options that are available based on their goals, their expectations, and their hair loss. So that's obviously the best way to do it. But the virtual way is also a way to kind of get to know a little bit more about your options too.
Sure. And so from a time frame perspective, is it something that works over a course of, I imagine it would be fairly lengthy, perhaps over a year, or how does it work?
Well, it's back to the consultation part. That part takes about 35 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes, depending on the details and questions. The transplanted hair grows in gradually. So when I had my procedure done, for example, I didn't go back to work the next day and have all this hair.
Sure.
It took about 12 months for all the hair to grow in from my first procedure. I had several because, as you can see, I like a lot of hair.
Beautiful head of hair now, mate. Let me tell you.
So not everybody wants this much hair or that much hair. That's,
Sure.
you know, they may want a little. If a guy's been bald for 20 years, this may scare him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So he wants, 100 more hairs or 1,000 more.
Or his spouse or anything, I imagine.
Yeah. So we can design it specifically to help accommodate his needs.
Well, this has been fantastic. I think we're very happy to have you on the Health and Wellness Program. I'm sure we're going to continue the partnership, and the people at home will learn more and more about laser hair treatments and hair transplants for hair loss. And we thank Michael Ramsey from PAI Medical and also WeGrowHair.com. Mate, just tell them at home where they can find your premises.
So our office is in Brentwood. We've been there for nearly 20 years. We're at 9000 Church Street East, Brentwood, Tennessee. That's again 9000 Church Street East, Brentwood, Tennessee.
And online?
Online, WeGrowHair.com.
It's a real easy one. So thank you so much again, Michael.
I enjoyed it.
And we appreciate you guys at home for watching the Nashville Health and Wellness Program.